So far, we created the strongest One Piece character possible. Then we went a step beyond and let luck decide on the strongest character possible. Then we went even further. We let luck decide on the strongest crew possible. Well, now let's do the opposite. I'm letting luck decide on the weakest crew possible. We'll spin this wheel, and on whichever crew it lands on, I gotta pick a member from the crew to add as a position in our own terrible crew we're creating. So before the exciting part begins, some very quick ground rules. Number 1, unlike past videos we made where we put limitations on how many times each crew or pull can be used, now let's say that we can use each crew an unlimited amount of times. However, pay attention to the second rule. Number 2, each character can only be used once. For example, I cannot have Luffy as both the captain and the navigator of the crew. If I use Luffy in a position and then I get the Straw Hats again, I need to pick someone else from the Straw Hats after that. Number 3, some crews have some fodder characters that we know next to nothing about. So for the purposes of this video, we will only be considering characters we know at least a fair bit about. So with these things in mind, let's get started. The positions we need to add people to in our crew are the following: captain, first mate or vice captain, second mate, navigator, doctor, animal, youngster, shipwright, swordsman, cook, fighter, and of course, a ship that our crew will be navigating on. Spinning the wheel. The first crew we get is none other than Alvida. Okay, so the members of the Alvida pirates that we can use and are not 100% fodder are Alvida and Kobe. Since Kobe later develops into someone incredibly powerful, capable of throwing Honesty Impact, a move so powerful that it can decimate an attack the size of an island, I think Kobe is not what you would normally describe as weak. I mean, with this move, Kobe imbues his fist with armament hockey before delivering a massively powerful punch with shockwaves that project forward, something only elite characters and masters of hockey can even dream of pulling off in One Piece. So this leaves us with Alvida, where if we consider her initial version as well, which is even worse than her later one, then yeah, we got our hands on a pretty useless character, 100% fitting what we need in our video. So which position should we place her in our crew? Since she was a captain in her crew, let's put her as the captain of our crew as well. Oh boy, now that's a great start. Imagine a crew with a captain like Alvida, literally the first opponent Luffy ever faced in the series, and defeated like it meant nothing, both in terms of strength as well as intelligence. All I'll say is that we are off to a great start. Moving on, let's spin the wheel again. Our next crew is the Straw Hats. Okay, for anyone ready to say that this is a pretty bad pull, well, think again here, because the way I see it, there is a character that is just perfect for what we need. I mean, the known Straw Hats are Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, Robin, Chopper, Usopp, Frankie, Jinbei, Brook, Vivi, Sunny, and formerly Going Merry. But none of them is weak. Sanji as a cook is great. Nami as a navigator is amazing. Zoro as a swordsman is top tier. Frankie as a shipwright is perfect. Robin as an archaeologist is quite literally the most perfect candidate someone could wish for in their crew. Strong devil fruit and the most rare ability in the world of One Piece, aka read the poneglyphs. Yeah, we're definitely not choosing her here, but I guess there is an option to make Usopp the crew sniper. Since speaking overall, Usopp is pretty weak, but to be fair, he does have his moments, and his sniper abilities are in the very least decent, to say the least. So how can we make a bad crew while using characters like all of them, you might ask? Well, hear me out. Let's take Zoro and place him as the crew's navigator. Yeah, that's bad. Really, really bad. I mean, the guy doesn't know the difference between his left and his right. He can literally get lost even when you tell him to walk straight. His freaking soul got lost on the way to heaven, causing it to return back to his body, and thus Zoro coming back to life? Look, I could go on here, but I think you guys got the point. Zoro is by far the worst choice when it comes to choosing someone from our crew's navigator. So this is exactly what we'll be doing. Our crew will now either get so badly lost they'll end up finding the One Piece within a week, or they will accidentally end up in Bikini Bottom trying to get to Fishman Island. There's not really an in-between option here. On to the next round. we now get the Tontada Pirates. Okay, that's actually a great pull, to be honest, as this group is among the weakest ones in the world of One Piece. I mean, after all, they are dwarves. So, which one should we choose? Well, I think it's better we start from the other way around. Which position should we use for this pirate group? We still have available a ship, a swordsman, a fighter, a first and second mate, an animal, a youngster, a cook, and a shipwright. I think the one that would be the absolute worst under these circumstances is, of course, the fighter. After all, this position is supposed to be be the muscle, aka the hand-to-hand fighter, excelling for his physical strength and power. Not exactly how you would describe the Tontata pirates, right? Well, because of that, I will be choosing Leo as our crew's fighter. Okay, so not gonna lie, so far our crew is pretty messed up. And quite honestly, we are definitely headed towards an early ending, no matter which crew we face on our quest for the One Piece. But let's keep going, spinning the wheel again. We now get the fake Straw Hats. Okay, now that's another great pull, since this crew is comprised of basically frauds. What we could do with this crew is have fake Zoro, aka Manjaro, be our crew swordsman. Yeah, that would definitely suck, right? Or maybe we could have fake Nami being the navigator. However, we already used Zoro for this, which is even worse. So yeah, we're covered there. Fake Luffy as the captain would have been nice as well. But again, we already used Alvida for that role. Then fake Frankie as the shipwright would be great as well. Fake Sanji as the second mate would also be good, but overall, here's my pick. I'll be going for fake Chopper as the position of the doctor. I mean, no matter how you see it, having a doctor you can depend on in your crew is an absolute must. I mean, you're stranded in the middle of the ocean for weeks at a time, meaning a simple cold could literally kill you without proper medical care. Give the crew a doctor that's a fraud like fake Chopper, and you wipe out the entire crew without really doing anything. And we're not even talking about serious injuries or illnesses that, given how weak the crew is, will definitely come eventually. Oh, and did I mention that fake Chopper is also incredibly weak? Like, it's not even someone with any special abilities. It's literally a simple fox. So yeah, I think our choice here was pretty easy. Up next, we spin the wheel and we get the Arlong Pirates. Alright, here I'm not sure if I should technically include the fishmen in the animal category, since they are half fish and half human, but let's just assume we can't. After all, they are supposed to be a mainly humanoid race. Okay, so with that being said, what we could do here is choose Hachan as a swordsman, which I'm actually not going to do, since Hachan is not exactly the weakest. We could go for Arlong or Kurobi or Chu for the positions of first or second mate, but you're gonna have to hear me out. We can take even weaker positions. My choice here is to take Momu for the position of the animal. Yeah, I know it's not exactly the weakest animal out there, but pre-time skip Luffy could literally fit in and throw it in the air like it meant nothing. So put this animal against any post-time skip character, and it stands no chance. Moving on, the next crew we get is once again, the Straw Hats. Alright, so truth be told, this is not the best pull, since the Straw Hats are incredibly powerful. I mean, they're a Yonko crew for no reason. So having said that, which character should we use here, and in what position? I mean, we could put Luffy in the position of the cook, right? I mean, in that case, the entire crew would simply starve to death. Luffy would eat all the food. No one else manages to get anything. They all die, end of the story. But alright, truth be told, even if Luffy managed to restrain himself and didn't eat all the food, yeah, there's no way the crew does not die from food poisoning sooner or later. I mean, remember him when he ate that poisonous fish and needed Reiju to come to his rescue? Yeah, imagine this guy being in charge of everyone's nutrition. Not the best situation, right? Well, even though that would be a great choice, hear me out, because I'm going to be choosing another member of the Straw Hats instead. I will be choosing Luffy's first boat as our cruise ship. And no, I'm not talking about Mary. I'm talking about this small raft Luffy used to have at the start. Yeah, no one's surviving in this ship for long, that's for sure. 6 positions down, 6 more to go. And the next pull we get is the Roger Pirates! Oh man, okay, this is definitely a bad pull. We literally got the crew of the Pirate King. How could we use a member in a weak crew like this? Well, hear me out. We do have some options. First of all, we could take Buggy as our crew's youngster. Heck, even Shanks would be okay, since as a kid, Shanks was nothing special. Not only that, we could also use Roger's first ship that, similar to Luffy, was nothing more than a raft. However, we've already taken a ship, so let's see what else we have. In my opinion, the best option here, under these circumstances, is to use Toki as our crew's swordsman or swordswoman. I mean, yeah, she was not part of the crew for long, but she did sail with them for a given time, and Odin was definitely part of the crew. So technically, I suppose we can consider her. And well, we all know that Toki was surely not a fighter nor a master swordsman. She just had a sword that belonged in her family. That's it. So with that being said, we just added a really weak character in one of the most important positions, aka the swordsman. And we also did it while using one of the strongest crews in history. Yeah, I'm definitely not complaining about that one. Up next, we get the Buggy Pirates. Alright, so we can use any of Buggy, Kabaji, and Galdino, since the rest of the characters are simply filler and not a whole lot is known about them. So with all that being said, which of these should we use, and in what position? Well, for starters, we could consider Kabaji as our crew swordsman, but we already used Toki as our swordsman, swordswoman, I suppose. Then we could go for either Galdino or Buggy, but for what position? In my opinion, first mate. And between the two of them, I think I'll be going for Buggy. I mean, say what you want, but at times, Galdino seemed stronger than Buggy. He quite literally took down almost all of the Straw Hats alongside two giants with ease. Now, I don't think Buggy is capable of such a feat, now is he? With all that being said, I'm gonna add Buggy as our crew's first mate. Okay, let's see if our luck starts getting any better, huh? Well, not quite, as this time, we got the Red Hair Pirates. Once again, a really powerful crew. So how could we use it without powering up our crew too much? Hear this. We leave out members like Shanks. I mean, duh. We also leave out characters like Lucky Roo that we could use as the cook, or Ben Beckman as second mate. Yasop, Lime Juice, Gab, Uta, Building Snake, they are all out, as they're incredibly powerful. What I will be using instead is Luffy as a youngster. Technically, Luffy used to be a part of the crew for a short period of time, so I suppose we can use him like that. I'm not saying it's the best choice, but at the very least, Luffy at this point is nothing more than good potential. He can't really fight or win against anyone, so once again, we managed to dodge adding a powerhouse to the crew, despite getting a Yonko crew. And now we're getting into the final three, and our next pull is the Foxy Pirates! Okay, I'm not complaining, that's pretty decent. So I know the character that's gonna come to your mind, right? Foxy, of course! Well, we could use him as the crew's second mate, but I've actually got a better idea. We will instead use Gina as our crew's shipwright. Even though Foxy's not weak, his devil fruit is pretty overpowered, so I suppose going for someone with even less potential's better, right? So that's exactly what I'm doing. On to the final two. The next one we get is the Fire Tank Pirates. All right, here we can use Bege, Vito, or Goaty for the position of second mate. But, well, I suppose there's an even better, or should I say even worse alternative. You see, instead, I'm gonna opt to go for Charlotte Chiffon as the crew's cook. She's not a fighter, she doesn't have any special abilities, she's just a cook. So with that in mind, she is perfect for the purposes of this video. And now, the only position left is the second mate, and the crew we get is the Sun Pirates! Alright, here we need to use a character that is not completely filler, but at the same time not too strong either. So our options are Fisher Tiger, Jinbei, Hachan, Arlong, Chu, Kurubi. Among all of them, I think our best option is to go for either Chu or Kurubi as our crew's second mate, as the other characters are, in the very least, quite overpowered. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And let's go ahead and say Kurubi as our crew's second mate. Click on this video next, where I am doing the exact opposite of what I did here. I'm letting luck decide on the strongest crew possible. Go on, check it out!